So after lunch, after this tremendous talk, I'm here. And first of all, I don't want to talk about AI. I don't want to talk about HCPs. I don't want to talk about pharma. I want to talk with you about holidays. You know why? Because holidays are beautiful. It's the best thing you can do to enjoy your hard-earned money and have a good time. Well, to be honest, I will tell you afterwards what we can learn from booking a hotel and booking holiday and trying to learn from this process, what we can learn from this, having a better HCP engagement and doing a better targeting and segmentation, but this is the second part. But first of all, let's talk holidays. My name is Nico. I'm one of the co-founders and CEOs of Exaris Solutions, and we are not helping you finding holidays, we are helping you to find the right HCPs. But as promised, let's talk about holidays. So what do you do when you book your next holiday? Well, first of all, search your suitcase, I know, try to figure all the sand toys for your kids. But very important part is, how do you search a hotel? Well, you do what most of the people do. You go to booking.com and do a segmentation of hotels. Well, one example segmentation could be Mallorca, close to the beach, hot tub, breakfast only, child-friendly, and because it's child-friendly, I need an open bar. It's very important. So this is a typical segmentation of a typical holiday, what everybody of us could do. So why do we search this way on booking.com? The answer is easy. Booking is a vertical search. So Booking won't find you any butchers. Booking won't find any bakeries in Mallorca. Booking won't find you anything beside hotels on Mallorca, because it is a vertical search trained on finding exactly the right hotel you're looking for. You may remember the open bar you're looking for. Everybody knows the open bar. So this is what a vertical search engine does. Because when you're using a horizontal search, you would find a hot tub supplier on Mallorca. You would find a restaurant which offers all-inclusive open bar drinking. And you would find maybe a kindergarten, which is child-friendly, but you will find anything but your special hotel. And this is why you would try to use vertical searches and vertical search engines to find the best hotel for your next holiday. As promised, we're not talking about holidays today, we're talking also about HCP targeting and why targeting is obsolete today. Well, the question is, when I can find in this very easy way my hotel, why can't I find HCPs vertically? This is an obvious question, right? So when I use vertical searches in my private manner, booking.com, Skyscanner, Amazon, all those platforms are vertical searches. And when I can find my next flight, my hotel, and my product in a vertical way, why can't I find my next HCP? So a typical segmentation could be, which HCP is relevant? Why is the HCP relevant? What does the HCP communicate? How do I reach the HCP? Which message works best? And what impact do I have? This could be a segmentation question about your HCP target group. Well, the problem is that there was no vertical search for HCPs. Now there is the vertical search health, which we developed. And so now is the question, so why do you need this? So why do you need a vertical search for your HCPs? The answer is easy. You don't have any data about your HCPs. And this is, to be honest, the truth. So everybody's talking about AI and next best action and the best engagement and omni, opti, multi. Sometimes we will have the best terminology of all. But the truth is, when you look in your CRM, everybody of you look in your CRM, you will have, hopefully you will have the master data, the correct address. Well, first challenge of all. Then a segmentation letter, A, B, C, D. Yes, yes. With an A on a physician, with an B on a physician, I can really hyper-personalize with an HCP because I know he is a B HCP. This is nothing. Date of last sales visit, when you're lucky, and has subscribed to your newsletter. So what do you really know about your HCPs? Nothing, when you look in your CRM. When you think about the hotels, when Booking.com identifies you a hotel, you know everything about the hotel. What the reviews are, how hot the hot job is really, how good the breakfast is, and how open the open bar really is, and how child-friendly the hotel really is. So this is what we transferred to how to segmentate and how to search with a vertical search for HCPs in this 6 steps. So as we said, which HCP is relevant, whether there is an HCP somewhere communicating in the World Wide Web about your indication, the vertical search will identify it and gives you not only that the HCP is communicating, the second part, why is the HCP relevant? Because everybody of you knows this one sales rep in your organization who's like 20 years working in an indication say, nobody can tell me anything about my HCPs. Everybody knows this sales reps. But when you can tell them sales reps, well, you should visit those because they have 7 sources where they talk about our indication. We never visit this HCP. Why do we not visit them? They talked on LinkedIn, they had a publication, they were on a local newspaper, and on their practice website, they talked about the indication. So go visit them. What does the HCP communicate? So when we know which HCP is relevant, why the HCP is relevant, we need to know what the HCP is communicating about. Well, they tell us. Don't try to guess it. They tell us in the public available data. When they are talking about the indication or they are mentioned as an expert, they tell us which content matter to them. This is really important. The next step, well, I don't really like the next step because it's about omnichannel. And omnichannel, multi-channel, it's my 4th time at the next, and I'm really kind of tired of omnichannel because, to be honest, HCPs, when they are digital savvy, they choose their channel. You don't need to define the channel. The only thing you need to know is whether they're digital savvy or not. And guess what? An HCP who is just doing some publications in a scientific area, they are not the digital savvy people. But an HCP who has its own website, who is offering video consultation tools, who has a LinkedIn posting, who was taking part on a digital event, they have digital savviness and they should be offered digital communication. But they tell us in their sources, they tell us in the open data space where they attend, what kind, in which source they communicate. And of course, which message works best? Well, when there is a physician who's criticizing the use of GLP-1 products on some sources, well, I should talk with them about his criticism and not about the benefits of my product. You should talk about the critics and the critical part. When there is a physician who's talking about, well, the risks for the patients, then you should talk about the risks. You need to look at the content, which message works for each HCP itself. And the last one is, what impact do I have? Forget everything what I told you when you do not measure impact. Repeat it. Forget everything what I told you when you do not measure impact. This is the most important part. When you fly back from your holiday and you were several times drunk, you say, hey, open bar, great. Headache, but great. Okay, this is measurement. And you need to measure what impact you have. And the good thing is vertical search can give you the impact. Because when there is a physician who's not talking about your product, and after 1 year you engage with a HCP and they start to communicate somewhere in the open data space about your product, this is impact. This is measurable in the whole target group. You need to do this. How does it look like? Make a photo. It's very, very small, but as so much information, it's better presentable. So this is a real HCP profile from our technology. We call her Katja because it's easier. Her last name is quite complicated. This is a real physician. And she is talking in 7 different sources about the topic of obesity and GLP-1 therapeutics. So why is the HCP relevant? Or which HCP is relevant? Katja. Why is the HCP relevant? Well, she talks in 7 sources about the indication. Great, what is she talking about in the indication? She emphasizes that obesity is a chronic disease that goes far beyond lifestyle. Simply dieting is often not enough. Early use of GLP-1 receptor agonists, such as semaglutide, can promote sustainable weight loss and significantly reduce cardiovascular and renal risks. A structured multiple therapeutic approach involving nutritional counseling, exercise, metabolic diagnostics, and close medical supervision is crucial to ensuring long-term therapeutic success. This is her content, not mine, her content. She wrote that, or this is the summarization of this, what she wrote. So now you know what is relevant for her. Now you know how to engage with her. Now you know what you should talk with her about. Not guess, ask her. The same way in the digital savviness, well, she is very digital savvy. She uses different websites and have a very big online presence. And very important, which impact do I have? Well, she's already talking about active ingredients. So semaglutide, she's already talking about a brand adoption. Everybody's starting low. No. When you're starting in your target group, everybody is already in the adoption ladder somewhere, because somebody who's not talking at all about your product or about your active ingredient is far lower than Katja. Katja is already above. And now imagine the sales rep is in his car. Well, he was on holiday, had a headache from the open bar. Now he's in his car, driving to the parking slot of the practice, ringing the doorbell. Now he has 2 options. Forget everything about AI, forget everything about whatsoever, but he has 2 options. Either he has the normal approach. Hello, Mr. Adams. My name is Mr. John. I would like to talk with you about my product. Hello, please let me in. 1 coffee, please. Or he knows exactly what to tackle, because this is the topics from Katja. Don't care about what you try to figure out in your company and organizations. Try to ask the physicians what they are really caring about. What topic are they talking about? Would you ever do your holiday in a hotel where you didn't watch the patient reviews, the reviews of the customers? Not at all. You look at them and say, hey, great. So look at them, what Katja tells you in the content, and then you engage. So now we're doing this together. We're building up right now the profile for Katja together. So the step 1 is we need to tell the AI search engine what we're looking for. This is what we call content frame. So we need to define what you should look for. The vertical part is always an indication. It needs to be an indication. And ask everything. Might be competitor, might be symptoms, might be therapy ways, might be case studies, might everything. You train your vertical search and say, hey, this is what you're looking for. Remember, open bar, child-friendly, nearby the beach and hot tub. This is what we are exactly doing here. The next step is individual extraction, interdisciplinary and diagnostic. This is very important. Imagine Booking.com would search for you only at Hilton and Radisson hotels. First of all, very expensive holiday. Second, it is a bias. You don't care about Radisson and Hilton. You care about the best result, best hotel. And this is what we do. We don't define sources. The whole web, the whole open data space is the source. It might be any source. The search engine, a vertical search, doesn't care. And interdisciplinary, why? Well, you have prescribers. They are talking in a relevant way about your product and about your indication, but you have also referrer. And you need to identify at least the GPs and your specialists. And this is what you can do with the content. For example, in Alzheimer's, GPs have elderly screenings. You need to know this. Who is offering elderly screenings? And the prescribers are talking about the very precise topics and very precise content. So the next step is then the result mapping. Because I don't care who's winning the fight, but Viva, Salesforce, whatever CRM you're using, you need to have this data actionable in your CRM. Now, do you remember what kind of data do you have in your CRM? Not so much data, but now when you look at the profile of Katja, you have a lot of data. So first of all, the extraction leads us to 29,000 sources alone for Germany in obesity. This is the result. 29,000 sources where HCPs are communicating in a relevant manner about obesity in Germany. Leads to 33,000 potential targets. Don't get me wrong. These are not all A targets. Don't worry. We don't need to hire more field force employees. But there is so much content and so much potential in this target group, so you can have a really good way to dynamic segmentate. And this is how you can segmentate and where you see which potential it is. For example, well, Katja is obviously an A target. She has different scores, but the most important thing is that you know now what are the top topics. She's talking about Wegovy, she's talking about GLP-1, she's talking about the disease management program, obesity. You know in which domain, in which source she's talking about which. So when you think about segmentation, when you think about personalized approach, well, then when you want to talk to the physicians who talk about the disease management program and obesity, because you have a program, an offer, or whatsoever for those physicians, segment about those topics, and then you can approach them. This is one way to integrate this directly into your CRM, mapped towards any data. Don't be afraid of the slide. I will explain it. But this is just one dimension how you can visualize or how you can view onto the data. I will explain. So the x-axis is how intensively the physicians are talking in a public area, in public sources, which is not scientific. The y-axis is scientific content. Okay? The colors are blue is A, and D and orange is D targets. So D is irrelevant, A is relevant. And the size of the bubble shows you how much content are they producing. So when I'm looking for a physician who is pinpointing the topic, this one is one. He's pinpointing the topic, he is public and scientifically very relevant. When I'm looking for my scientific KOLs, there's one, he's pinpointing the topic. And he's actively communicating in scientific area, well, not really much in the public area, and he's very precise on point. When you're usually looking for the people who are talking much but telling nothing, then look at the big bubbles in the middle. And this is just one way how you can segmentate. You can zoom in, zoom out, and say, hey, I want to know my publicly key opinion leader, my scientific key opinion leader, what topic are they communicating about, what potential do I have in my lower targets, and what dynamic approaches can I use to understand my target group better. Or, in a more simple way, in Germany, obesity targeting, 283 relevant LinkedIn posts by HCPs on the topic of obesity, 83 podcast posts by HCPs, 512 social media posts by HCPs, or 9,289 practices actively communicating about nutritional counseling. This is another way how to segmentate the result of a vertical search, content-based, which is all connected to one HCP. So now you have the possibility to really understand what your target group is talking about, what is relevant for them, or what matters to them. As I said, zoom in, zoom out. Well, the sales reps are interested in the one HCP to engage with them. The sales manager is also interested in the regional sales structures. Brand managers and marketeers are more interested in the whole target group. What are they talking about? What is relevant for them? Does my message fit to the market? And are there other stuffs I'm missing? Well, you saw the numbers of sources in obesity. Well, in every indication, we find quite a huge numbers of sources and just ask them. For example, this is zoom out, RSV vaccine market in Germany, and you see, for example, the specialist communication, 58% of the HCPs who are talking about product names are talking, 58% are talking about the product of GSK, only 37% are talking about the product of Pfizer. I know some brand managers of both companies who are really interested in those numbers because this is no market research, this is just asking all the sources from the HCPs. And the last step, what I just said to you, or what I just told you, is forget everything I showed you, forget everything what you today learned. When you do not measure impact, it doesn't make sense at all. So this is the measurement, what we did. Content movement, Southern Germany, adipositas, number of HCPs, what you see here, and how did it develop from May 2024 to April 2025. And what you see here is the change. Of course, there's nearly every number is positive, but because it's a big topic. But what you see is how many additional physicians, for example, came to Mounjaro and started to communicate it here. They started to communicate. They didn't communicate at all in 2024, but something happened in the market. And then, for example, Saxenda, for example, also. Ozempic, semaglutide, there is something happening in the market, alone in southern Germany. And this is not based on some cohort. This is the whole market. And then you know which HCP did I visit? Did I move my HCP in their content, in their communication? And now this is a direct impact into your market. So now you're today very lucky, because I know everybody, of course, wants to try this, and everybody wants to book a hotel, but better search their HCPs vertically. You can win a free project with our solution with this QR code. Just scan it, and then you can win one, which is worth money, but you can win a free HCP Insights product with our solution with any indication in any country in the world. And I'm at the end of my presentation. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to talk with you at our booth of Exaris Solution. And I'm around here the whole days, and if there are any questions, I'm really happy to help you. Thank you very much.